Now, the President says part of the ruling ought to have reasonably foreseen the dire consequences of this reshuffle, given what happened in 2015 when he fired the then Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene. So that particular argument won the day. Why do you think that was?
Well, I don't think the issue really, as I understand it, is not what the President foresaw or not foresaw. This is just a decision to say that the DA wants to review the decision, and in order to review it, they need the reasons and any documentation on which the decision was based. This is in line with the Constitutional Court jurisprudence of the last 20 years, which says that every exercise of public power is reviewable by the court. And so that is the first question. It's going to be far more difficult once the actual decision is challenged and reviewed, and the question is whether it can be reviewed and set aside. Because unless there's proof that the President acted in bad faith or that the President relied on facts that were clearly false, I can't see that the court will actually review and set aside the decision to reshuffle the cabinet.
It's also referenced that the decision did not, and I quote, meet the requirements of rationality and was therefore illegal. Is that in fact a legal term? How do you gauge what rationality is?
Yes. Well, remember, the court did not find today that there was irrationality. The court just said that if you're going to challenge a decision that is not administrative action, you can do it on the basis of the principle of rationality. That's a long-established principle in our law. And so the question will be, did the President act rationally? Given the reasons he preferred, is there some rational relationship between the reasons given and what he actually did? This is very different from asking the question, did the President make a good decision? Did he make a wise decision? Even if the President's decision was catastrophically wrong-headed, that is not an irrational decision. An irrational decision is one that no rational person possibly could have made with the facts at hand. And given the fact that this is a political decision, the President, if he's wise, he will just say, well, I did this for political reasons. And if he did it for political reasons, he can basically appoint anybody in the National Assembly to his cabinet, and that will be the end of the matter.
But it's
unless there is, of course, any evidence that there was bad faith, that there was corruption, or that the President relied on evidence that were clearly false.
And that's my next question, is that all of this, of course, is bedeviled by that very controversial intelligence document that Karen was referring to earlier.
Yes, so the question is, though, whether, I'm not sure, the question is, and I'm not a procedural lawyer, but on what basis, will the President document or provide this intelligence report? Will there be any evidence before the court, and could it be proven that the President actually partly relied on this report when he made the decision? There will have to be evidence put before the court. Who will put that evidence before the court? One of the top 6 of the members of the NEC or the President himself? I'm not sure that is going to happen.
So are you suggesting that, that document surely has to be proffered, though, in terms of the decision taken by the court today?
Well, unless the President says that he didn't rely on this document. And then there will have to be evidence to show that he did rely on it. And evidence cannot be, the court will not rely on news reports. I mean, the last time the court relied on news reports were in the Nicholson judgment, and the Supreme Court of Appeal was rather scathing about the way in which Judge Nicholson handled that. So there will have to be more than just rumors that were published in the newspapers.
I don't know whether you want to stray into this particular field, and tell me if you don't, but are you able to hazard a guess, give us a sense of what the Democratic Alliance's end game is here? I mean, for instance, if this follows perhaps a logical pattern, could this result in that decision being overturned, and even for Pravin Gordhan to, or for thoughts to be entertained that Pravin Gordhan needs to be reinstated?
Well, I'm not sure what they are going to ask for if they launch their actual review application. We will have to wait and see for that. Of course, if the decision is irrational, then the decision, it's as if the decision was never taken. And so the original status quo before the cabinet reshuffle will sort of, as it were, revive from the dead. But they will first, as I say, have to prove that there was irrationality, which will be rather difficult to do unless they have proof that there was bad faith or that the president relied on false information that was clearly false.
How significant is it that Judge Valley ordering President Zuma pay the DA's legal costs?
Well, I think it's significant in the sense that when you have nothing to worry about in a review application, you give all the information that is required. You give the reasons, you give the documents that is required, and so the president didn't want to do that. And I assume, I don't know what the judge was going on in his mind, but I assume the judge thought this was unnecessary because this is just a pro forma thing that you give the reasons, and then the actual court case can happen. And here the president refused to do that, which the court seemed to take a dim view of.
All right, that's